Hi, my name is Nate, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about my opinions with AI in authorship. There's been a lot of talk about this recently, and a lot of people are pretty scared about it. And there's a lot of very strong opinions about AI in book writing. So today I'm going to share with you my opinion and why I believe it can be used, and it should be, well, not maybe should be, but it can be used as a tool, but not as an author. So, first of all, I want to make something very clear. I do not support using AI to generate books or other written work. I do not support using it to actually generate the text of the book. There were, a while back, from what I've heard, a lot of books on Amazon that were just AI written. I believe they were smut books. And that is not right because that is not real authorship. Usually, if you're using AI to generate text, you are not saying that that text was written by ChatGPT. If you made a book and you had a chapter of it be completely generated by ChatGPT, and you did not say that that chapter was completely generated by AI, that would be plagiarism to a lot of people. You making a prompt on ChatGPT and it writing a chapter for you is not your work. That is artificial work. So I do not condone that. That leads me into my one big thing with AI and authorship. Generative AI is a tool that can be used in authorship. It is not a co-author. Now, a lot of people believe that AI should not be used at all in the writing scene. And while I understand where those views come from, I believe that it is very useful for some people. The main argument I see is that people say just get a real editor. And while that sounds simple, in reality, they can cost a lot of money. And especially if you're a young writer who's under legal age to be doing some of that stuff, or is of the age where it's a lot harder to get a professional editor, AI is the easiest, most simple choice that can still turn out good results. So, as an example of using generative AI in my work, I am going to show you this. This is chapter 10 of my book, The Better Path, and it is all about archery. I am not an expert at archery, all right? So a lot of this flowed really terribly, all right? I have the original part of it right here, and this flows horrible. It feels clunky, it feels unrefined. As ChatGPT says, it has tension and competition, but it's very rugged or jagged. That's what I meant to say. It's very jagged. It is not very smooth. So I took the original part and I threw it directly into ChatGPT, along with this. This is a part of my book that I am writing, but it feels like it doesn't flow well. Any tips on how to rewrite this? I also don't know much about archery, so some more info about that would really help. It gives me some praise. It does give me positive, which is very useful in this because I thought that this was horrible. And it can be really not motivating to have to put your work into AI and say, fix this because I suck at writing. So I think it's very good that it is giving you some positive feedback. I support that. So, does it give me a suggested rewrite of the entire thing. Yes, it does. Did I put this in my work? No. Here's what I did to use generative AI to assist in my writing without copy and pasting. So, first of all, it gives me some writing tips. Structure and flow. Introduce tournament rules earlier, possibly in a paragraph before the main action. This I did use in my story. As you can see here, I shoot my main character shoots an arrow and then goes into how the competition works. However, in the new version of this, I take my instructions and I move them up to before I start shooting, right? Before my main character starts shooting. So, is that also what the rewrite did? Yes. Did I copy and paste their instructions and put it directly into here? No, I did not. I took my original work and adjusted it slightly so that way it made more sense. Now, corrections and notes. Docking should be knocking. I used the wrong term here and it corrected that. So I fixed it. Whenever I saw docking, I replaced it to knocking. As you can see here, if I do docking, if I have an example here, I can change it like that. As you can see here in my last part, I was not been completely done with that. So there we go. That's even from a different chapter entirely. So I adjusted accordingly. For this, I could not think of a name for this, so I used ground-mounted wooden sheath because when I was thinking about this, I thought of sheath, like one that you would have on a sword, right? Something like this. And you do have those in a similar way for arrows, but it's not called a sheath, it's called a quiver. I just mistakenly called it that. So I fixed it. Whenever it said ground quiver, or whenever it said this, I changed it to ground quiver. Improvement without using AI and copy and pasting it directly into my work. There you go. So, clarify it's a special rule for this because I had it so that way if the arrow hits the very center dot and is actually touching it, you get 12 points in this competition. Did it also give an example of how to write this in my suggested rewrite? Yes. Is that what I directly put into my work? No. As you can see here, I wrote it on my own, like so, and specifically stated that it's a special rule and why my main character likes the special rule. Was there anything else from this? Yeah. So there's some extra notes. Most competitive rounds are scored over multiple sets, but your fictional rules work. Just make them clear and consistent, which I did. So, this part. It also suggested, not directly, but in the rewrite, to add some onomatopoeia. I did not personally like the way they did some of this onomatopoeia because this is thwack, 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 which is not great because that's just the repeated onomatopoeia over and over again, which starts to get kind of dull. So I did my own thump, thwack, and it's literally just nothing on the final one. There is no other onomatopoeia here, but I made sure to use different onomatopoeia in this without copying from AI. So that's my example of how I've used it. There are other ways you can use it too. It can be used as an example for prompts. I have not been a while. Teen journal prompts. I've used it multiple times to generate prompts. Is this ChatGPT writing your story? No. This is using generative AI for ideas so you are still writing your story. And that is how you use AI. Ideas. As a writer, I get writer's block quite a bit. I mean, we all do. Struggling to figure out what to do next is very common. And you can use, what I'm trying to show you is you can use AI to defeat writer's block and to give you some tips to improve your work. That is all. So, that is my opinion on generative AI and authorship. If you disagree with me or you have different opinions about it, please feel free to put them down in the comments. And in the meantime, that's it from me. Peace, y'all.